Parshas Behaaloscha, Tavshin Pei Hey. We want to welcome everybody tonight. I don't know if it's fortunately, unfortunately, a big news night, what's going on in Eretz Yisrael, that they are attacking Iran after all these years of talking about their nuclear programs, this, that. But we know how to fight Iran. We come here to learn. And while they're fighting, we're learning Torah. And in that schus, Mirz Hashem, the people that are doing the fighting on the front in Iran will have their success in the schus of the Torah that we learn. And our parsha begins with the following. Daber el haroin v'yamartoi love. A tzivoi to tell Aaron HaKohen Behaaloscha es hanerois el mul pnei hamnoira yoiru shivas hanerois. The commandment to tell Aaron HaKohen that he should have the schus to light the menorah in the Mishkan. So Rashi asks, why is it that the parsha of the menorah is written in the Torah at the beginning of our parsha, right after the end of last week's parsha, and last week's parsha ends off with the parsha of the Nesivos. The Nesivos, we know, each one of the Nesivos brought karbonos for the Chanukas HaMizbeach, Chanukas HaMishkan. They brought, each Nasi brought karbonos. And that was the end of last week's parsha. But the beginning of this week's parsha, right after that, we have the parsha of the menorah. Why is that? So the answer is that when the Nesivos brought the karbonos in last week's parsha, Aaron HaKohen was feeling bad. Aaron HaKohen saw that the Nesivos were a huge part of this Chanukas HaMizbeach now. The Mishkan was going to open, and the Nesivos were bringing karbonos, each shevet, and Aaron HaKohen was not part of that. And he saw that he was not one of those bringing the karbonos. And Aaron HaKohen felt bad about that. So right away, after the parsha of the Nesivos, when our parsha begins, Hashem said to Aaron HaKohen, you should not feel bad. You should not worry at all. You know why? Because you're going to have something, Aaron HaKohen, you're going to have something better. You're going to have something greater. It's going to be even greater than the karbonos that were brought in the Mishkan. And what is that thing that's greater? What we have in our parsha. The lighting of the menorah in the Mishkan, that's going to be for you, Aaron HaKohen. And the Medrash says even a little more. The Medrash says it was even a little deeper. That when Aaron HaKohen saw that all the Nesivos were bringing karbonos except for Shevet Levi, Aaron HaKohen thought that maybe the reason Shevet Levi wasn't bringing karbonos by the Chanukas HaMizbeach, the reason Shevet Levi was being left out was because he is afraid that it was because of something that he did. Aaron felt that maybe he did something wrong, and that's why Shevet Levi was left out. So comes the beginning of our parsha. Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, go and tell Aaron HaKohen not to worry about it. Aaron HaKohen, that's not the reason Shevet Levi wasn't part of it. The reason is because you, Aaron HaKohen, you are getting something even greater. And what is that? The lighting of the menorah. Therefore, the juxtaposition of the Parshas HaNesivos and the Parsha of the menorah. Why is it that the menorah is something even greater than the karbonos? So Pashat, the reason is that the karbonos will only be along as long as there is a Mishkan, as long as there is a Beis HaMikdash, there are Karbonos. But the Neiros will be forever. So really, we have spoken about this Inyan. We mentioned this entire thing one of the years when we spoke on Hanukkah, because there are those who say that the Neiros that we're referring to are the Neiros Hanukkah. Those are going to go on forever. So that lasted longer than the Karbonos which the Nesiim brought. But the Nesivos Shalom brings from all the Mefarshim, and the Mefarshim say when there is no Beis HaMikdash, there's no menorah either. So what does it mean that Aaron HaKohen, Moshe Rabbeinu told Aaron HaKohen, don't worry, what you have is greater, because the Karbonos won't be there after the Chorban Beis HaMikdash, but the Neiros will be there. What does that mean? The menorah is also not there. The menorah was also stopped when there was a Chorban Beis HaMikdash. So one answer, says in Nesivos Shalom, one answer is found in the Medrash Tanchuma. The Medrash Tanchuma tells us that when the Beis HaMikdash was unfortunately nechrab, when the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, the menorah was not destroyed, says the Medrash. Other kelim, other things of the Beis HaMikdash, there was total churban. They were destroyed. But the menorah was nignaz. The menorah was hidden away. And I know now we're not going to address all the rumors and things about the menorah being in the Vatican, if it's there, if it's not, if it's here, if it's there. I have no idea. That's not my expertise. I really don't know. But the Medrash tells us that the menorah was not destroyed. Everything else, there were a couple of other things that may have not been also, but most of the other things of the Beis HaMikdash were destroyed, the menorah not. So that's what it means, that the menorah will last forever. But the question remains, so in reality, the menorah is around somewhere. But really that doesn't answer our question, because even if the menorah is around somewhere, how does that help Aaron HaKohen? What does it mean that the menorah will always be burning if it's hidden away and it's buried away somewhere hidden, somewhere where we don't know? How does that help? Why does that help Aaron HaKohen feel that he has something greater than the Karbonos? And Stamazoi, the Nesivos Shalom, asks also a side question over here. So if the menorah was nignaz and the menorah was not destroyed, why was that? Why only the menorah? Why was the menorah picked that the menorah was not destroyed and everything else was? There must be a reason. There must be something very special about the menorah. So Nesivos Shalom explains, and he says, the Gemara Masechta Chagiga, Daf Yud Beis Amar Aleph, tells us that the light that was created on the first day of the Bria, Hashem said, Yehi Or, there should be light. That light, as we know, that light was created and taken away right away. HaKadosh Baruch Hu took that light, the initial light, Yehi Or, that the world was created with, Hashem took that away right away and put it away for the tzaddikim in the time of Mashiach. Whether that's what we refer to as the Orei Shel Mashiach, I'm not 100% sure, but it was put away for the tzaddikim in the time of Mashiach. It was a spiritual light, not a physical light, and it was taken away. It was a spiritual light only. And the Medrash Tanchuma actually tells us something beautiful in Parshas Noach, that this light that was taken away, it was put away, you know for who? That light was put away for those who are Amalei Torah. Those who toil in and sacrifice and learn Torah, they are zoiche to feel this light. That Or Agonus, that light that was put away, the people who learn and have Amelus Bat Torah, they're zoiche to this light. And the menorah says, the Nesivos Shalom brings down that the menorah also, this light that was taken away right at the beginning of the Bria, this light the menorah had also. The menorah had the light and still has the light wherever it is that lights the way for the neshama of every Yid to learn Torah and to do the Ratzon Hashem. And that koyach of the menorah, yes, the menorah was taken, it was nignaz, the menorah was put away, we don't know where it is, we don't know where it's buried, we don't know if it's in the Vatican, we don't know if it's here, we don't know if it's there, but we know that the menorah, that light, that koyach of the menorah was never taken away. We, as Klal Yisrael, cannot live without that light. It may be hidden. It's taka hidden. We don't see the light, but it's a spiritual light. It's not a light that we can necessarily see. It's a spiritual light, and it's somewhere in this world that tzaddikim and those who have amelus b'Torah, they're able to tap into that and receive the hashpah from that light. So by all other kalim of the Mishkan, the Churban Beis HaMikdash was able to affect those kalim. It was able to destroy those kalim, unfortunately. But that holy original light that the menorah carried, Churban was not able to physically, it wasn't a physical thing. The Churban was never able to destroy that. It's the remnant, the menorah had that remnant, and it was the carrier of the Oir Agonus. So physically we might not see the light. But the spiritual light, which is the light of that light of the Or that was created at the beginning of the Bria, that's still there. And that is why Dafka, the menorah, was the keli of the Beis HaMikdash that was nignaz. That is why the menorah Dafka was one that got hidden and didn't get destroyed, because the menorah and the light that it represents cannot be destroyed. That light is being reserved for the times of Mashiach and to people who learn Torah according to the Medrash. And that is also Dafka why Aaron HaKohen was told, Shelacha kayom la'ad. Aaron HaKohen, you have something better than the Karbonos. The Karbonos were an amazing thing. Every one of the Nesiim was able to bring the Karbonos. But Aaron HaKohen, you have something, the menorah that you're going to be lighting, that's something, that spirituality from the menorah will never be destroyed. Shelacha kayom la'ad. So in a Hanami, nobody's lighting the menorah today. Nobody could light the menorah today. But the spiritual part of the menorah, Aaron HaKohen, Moshe Rabbeinu told Aaron HaKohen, I want you to know, Shelacha kayom la'ad. The light of the menorah will always be there for Yidden. So when you feel a light in your neshama, when you feel good after learning a good seder, after taking on something a little extra in Ruchnias, after learning, working a little harder on learning, that light, that good feeling you feel in your neshama could be the light, the spiritual light of the menorah. Because Aaron HaKohen was told it's going to be around forever. So every one of us has the opportunity to tap into it. Tap into that in your own way. Do a little bit, sacrifice for Torah, support Torah, learn a little bit more, be machshav Torah. You're getting closer to that light. And Amir Hashem, every one of us should be zoicha, not only to feel that light when we learn Torah, but also to be zoicha, to feel that light. Mashiach times are here. There's no question it's here. It's just a matter of how long and when. When Mashiach comes, we're all going to get to see that light. And if you put your effort into it, you're going to be able to say, I felt this light, and I am part of the light of Mashiach.